Good morning. My name is Anna Imagination, and this is the Healing Garden. I have been doing mental work since 1995, and I started with philosophy. 30 years, almost 30 years of philosophy, of just thinking. In 2001, August of 2001, I came downstairs from my bedroom, and my mom made an announcement that my stepfather quit his job. They have made arrangements to move to Arizona. They have no plan, no money saved, and they're just putting it all in God's hands. At the time, I was 20 years old, and I called them stupid. Over the next few years, I watched my my mother and my stepfather both bring in six figures because they did what they wanted with their lives. I have always been really tuned into the energy, highly sensitive to it, so that if I am not aligned to the energy, I suffer. I experience significant pain. Now, at the time, I had no idea what the pain was. At the time, I just was in pain, and I knew that when I did A, I felt good, and when I did B, I was in pain. So I made a point of doing A. A, well, to be to be simplifying this, B was simply anything and everything to do with the rat race, anything and everything to do with the patriarchy. A was my way. And as a result, I never got a 9-to-5 job when my father wanted me to. In fact, every time I tried to step into that direction, I had severe pain through my whole body. Significant pain. It felt like somebody had hooked me up to this electrical current. And every time I applied for a job, I was just charged with massive amounts of electrical current. So I didn't actually start looking for a job until 2001. And ever since then, I have been forcing myself into the rat race, into the flow with everybody else, into the daily hustle and the daily grind, hating myself more and more, enduring significant amount of pain. And while this took place, I also dove deeper into my psychological research to figure out exactly what pain was. I spoke to my therapists when that time came. I spoke to many, many people with doctorate degrees in psychology and asked them, can you tell me what pain is? Emotional pain. And not one of them could. They simply defined it as, well, it's an emotion that feels like X. Yes, but where does it come from? And they could not tell me. Neuroscientists who I spoke to gave me a physical explanation of where in the brain pain came from, but no one could actually tell me what the catalyst of pain was. So I continued my research into psychology and philosophy. That is when, this last year, I discovered or I put together my triadic healing theory with the cognitive core and its processing. And when I developed the cognitive core and its processing, with it came the theory that all emotions, including pain, come from a misalignment within the cognitive core. Now, in psychology, we call this cognitive dissonance. But cognitive dissonance in psychology only goes surface deep. There's no emphasis on it. No one really looks into it. It's just dismissed. So I put together, based off of logical deduction and what to me is common sense, that we have within our identities these 5 elements that make up who we are, that form our ability to assess and determine our situation so that we can form a perspective of our reality. And we have ethics, and we have beliefs, and we have what we love. And that love, I was taught, as everybody else is, that love is an emotion. No, it is not. Love has a feeling to it, but it's not an emotion. There is a huge difference between emotion and feeling. And I found out that love is actually a state of being. It is part of our identity. It makes up our identity. It is the foundation of who we are, is what we love. We love something because it reflects our values and our ethics. In turn, it feeds our values and our ethics. And then we have beliefs that come into the world. My biological father, I contribute completely to this. He would tell me as a child, being the Republican man that he was, that all of life is about paying taxes and dying. Even saying it, I have pain. Thinking it, I literally have pain because it is so contradicting to what I love, what I believe, and what my ethics are, that the contradiction itself causes me pain. So I sat down and I evaluated that. What exactly is it about contradiction? I'm a logician. I have studied formal logic and debate since I was 15 years old. And I realized that it isn't contradiction. Contradiction, what really contradiction is a misalignment. Misalignment. And when I realized this earlier this past year, I realized that when I say misalignment, I'm saying, well, what are we misaligned to? And that's when I stepped back and realized that there very much is a frequency inside each and every one of us, our own note, our own tune, our own solid core. One note. It's a frequency. Now, this is proven in science. This is physics. This is bioenergetics. Everything has a frequency to it. They are measuring this now at CERN. This is not up for debate. In fact, most of what I say is not up for debate. I passed the debate stage about a decade ago. Now I'm just assessing and concluding and writing theses and dissertations. So, yeah, I spent the last year running my theories by doctorate degree psychologists, neuroscientists, chemists, and they confirmed that my theory checks out. So I'm sitting here going, yeah, I'm not really in the mood to debate with the common man. I've done my research. It's checking out. So what I learned was that we have a frequency inside of us. And that some of us, empaths and HSPs, are highly tuned into that frequency. Highly tuned into that frequency. So much so that if we do anything that does not align with that frequency, it causes cognitive dissonance. It causes discomfort. And pain is just discomfort. It's an extreme level of discomfort. And when you don't listen to that discomfort, it turns up the volume. Our subconscious mind, turns up the volume to communicate to us, you are out of alignment with what you believe. You are out of alignment with your ethics. Now, my ethics tell me that life is supposed to be about what you love. And I don't love the rat race. That is my version of hell. So I reject it. I reject the hustle. I reject urgency. I reject everything about the patriarchy, including relationships. I have removed myself so completely from inside the box thinking that even when I approach the box, I have significant physical and emotional pain. And when I have that pain, it exudes this massive energy. All emotions exude all energy. But this is a negative energy that it exudes. And when that negative energy exudes, I have more pain. So I built this garden and I stepped back from it and I said, is this garden who I am? Is it true to what I want? Is it true to my authentic self? Is it true to my ethics and my belief? And it's not, it wasn't. So I kept tweaking it and tweaking it. And having a business is like having something that's pointing in this direction. And you have to keep like tweaking it to get it to move where you want until it finally aligns perfectly with who you are. That is business ownership. And it's not a smooth process. It's not, I know who I am, here it is, boom, we're done. I mean, maybe if you're that good at it and you know who you are, great. But for those of us who are just coming out of trauma and you don't know who you are, it's going to take time to figure out that alignment. In fact, owning a business is a fantastic way to figure out who you are and where your alignment is. So a week ago, I realized that I was over here and my business was pointing over there. So I went, I have to break this down and completely redo it. Ironically, I pulled the Tower card in my tarot reading last night. The Tower card means break it down and rebuild it on a stronger foundation. And that's exactly what I did. And I know how to do that. To do that, you basically have to, in my world, for me, I have to use words to deliberately redirect the direction of the ship. So my ship was pointed over here and I went, yeah, okay, this is not where it needs to be. Sorry, guys. And the helm and it just went, and my ship went, and I lost a lot of people, I lost people yesterday. I gained people. My ship aligned and the water stilled and I felt drained. Now, whenever I feel drained, that is a red flag to me that I step back and say, it's time to sit down and get back into the energy and figure out what's going on. So I've been playing around with manifestation all my life since I was 5. And this last year, I have gotten down to the science of manifestation, the psychology of manifestation, and the physics of manifestation. And I watch people ask for things and consequences. I want a love. I want money. I want a house. I want a car. I want a job. And I noticed how much time that was wasting. So I changed it to, I just want things that don't belong to me to leave. And I want things that are meant for me to come to me. And I simplified that even more this morning. I was thinking really hard on it. Actually, it was last night. And I said, no, I gotta think. So I went to the water That's where I think whenever I'm around water, it like puts me right into the energy pool, literally and metaphorically. So I stepped into the pool last night and I said, all I want is alignment. I don't care how, that's up to the universe to figure out. I just want alignment. I just want to know how, not even, I just want to know where I'm supposed to be. So I manifested on that, and within 30 minutes, per usual, the answers all came to me. I found that when I manifest knowledge, literally, I manifest knowledge. I don't manifest things, I manifest knowledge because that's something I can control. So I always manifest for knowledge because if I know how to do something, then I know exactly what it is I need to do and I can just go click, 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 and then I get what I want. So I don't have to ask the universe for a house. I can just say, I want to know how to do X so I can get X, or Y so I can get B. And I do. And it does, and it works. And knowledge is something that I can obtain almost instantly because my brain is already pre-oiled and ready to go and it's set. So I just wanted the energy to be aligned. I just wanted to understand the answer. And within 30 minutes last night, it just clicked and said, stop pursuing the consequences and just pursue the energy itself. Stop focusing on love. You've missed the point. I do a lot of listening to Abraham Hicks. A lot of listening to Abraham Hicks. I mean, I have 4 notebooks. I take notes. I don't sit down, meditate, and listen to them and follow their direction. I apply the philosophy and psychology and the science to Abraham Hicks, and I analyze exactly what it is they say. And that's when I realized that we're manifesting the wrong thing. We're manifesting a love. And when you manifest a love, a partner, your energy is now focused on possessing a partner. And you're focusing on possession. Possession is resistance. Possession is claiming. Possession is taking. Possession is chasing. And that produces those kind of frequency, which actually pulls you out of the energy, which slows down your progress to get what it is you want. Ironic. Purely ironic. But if you instead truly all the way down, and this is what I love about the energy, is you cannot bullshit the energy. If what you truly desire is just alignment, then what is meant for you will return, and what is not meant for you will be released. And you have to accept the loss. You have to be willing to openly accept the grief. And if that means losing your love, you lose your love. And you have to be willing to make that sacrifice so long as you focus completely on the energy, not with the intent to get a love. That's bullshit. That's you trying to shortcut the system, and the system knows it. You have to truly want, desire, and accept the frequency. You must seek out only the alignment. Once you do that, you let everything go. You surrender 100% control. And then it opens you up and you completely enter a place where you trust the universe, just like my mom and stepdad did 20 years ago. And I realized that because I'm so sensitive to the energy, I think we all are. I'm going to start by saying that I believe that what is wrong with everybody is that all of us are this sensitive to the universe. I believe that we are all this sensitive to alignment. I believe that no one cares if we are, or no one is aware of how sensitive we are to the alignment, because we're all being told to live inside this box, to hustle, to make everything urgent. So I talked to the universe, to my daughter. I assessed last night, and I said to my daughter, the universe I keep getting these feelings like I'm supposed to just do podcasts, just do podcasts, just right. And I'm supposed to be mindful of my energy intake and outtake. And there are things that I do where when I do them, like a podcast, I feel like I am pulling energy into me and it relaxes me. When I communicate, when I teach, I feel like I'm pulling this energy into me and it relaxes me. When I post motivations on Facebook, I feel it drain me and it hurts me. And I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to focus on aligning with my energy and just let the universe figure the rest of it out. And my daughter said to me, give it a week. She goes, do it for a week, see if it works. And I went, all right, for 1 week, every action I make is going to be 100% based only on, does this nourish my energy or does it drain it? So I wrote a list of all the things that nourish my energy that I love to do, and all the things that drain my energy that I actually hate to do. And this morning I got up and I went to sleep last night with this goal. I had an idea. I went, all right. Pen and paper nourishes me. Technology drains me. It's that simple. So when I need to think or focus, I get out the old pen and paper and I write, because typing on tech drains me. So communication drains me. Reverse that. It nourishes me. Talking, writing, thinking, and journaling nourishes my energy. Pausing, resting, waiting, and observing nurtures my energy. Arguing with people, engaging with people, listening to people drains me. It's why I'm not a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I have this beautiful educational background, and there is no way in hell I would ever commit to sitting down and listening to people complain for an hour. It's not good for them. It's not good for me. It's not good for the energy pool. Venting does not work. Arguing does not work. Stating what your opinion is to somebody else drains your energy and their energy, because you're in closed-minded fight mode, and that takes away from the energy. What you're really doing when we argue is one of two things. One, you are trying to validate your own identity because you don't know if you have one. Or B, you are regurgitating, it's a trauma response, and you are regurgitating the bullshit from your abuser. That's it. You get to decide which one you're doing. Yesterday, I engaged in a debate, and it was exploratory. It was truly wonderful brain candy. I adored the challenge, but it heightened my aggression. It changed my energy, and I hated it, and it took me all day to reset because it drained my energy. And I went, why am I putting myself through that? Why am I altering the garden's energy into that direction. That's not the energy I want. Somebody said that to me yesterday. Is that the energy you want? She was hostile when she said it to me, but I still took it and really allowed it to sit with me and process. Is this the kind of energy you want? No, it's not. What kind of energy do you want? I want the energy that's aligned to me. My energy is my sunlight. It's my positivity. It's my optimism. I posted something out there where I said, and it's still very true, that every time I go through a difficult obstacle or hardship, it actually is the predecessor to really fantastic things happening in abundance. So that now I have this association that when I go through a rough time, I actually get happy and excited because I know abundance is coming around the corner. And somebody posted, yeah, that's not how that works. Now I know I'm going to get trolls. And I stepped back from that and I assessed the energy. I assessed her psychosis. And I broke it all down and I just went, I allow way too many people their stage in my space. There is not multiple stages here. There is my stage. And I realized I don't want an educational group. I've already done the education. I have spent 30 years doing the education. I realized I'm not looking to expand my knowledge base. I already have my tutors. I already have people I go to for picking apart my thoughts and my thesis. I don't need to consult the common man. That's just noise. And I'm stepping back more and more and assessing it. And I'm going, what is it you want, Anna? I want an audience. It's that simple. I want an audience. I don't have to explain myself to anyone. I know the value of my knowledge. I know the value of my words. I know what I am. I don't have to explain anything to anyone. That's a trauma response. When I feel like I have to explain myself, and I do it often, that's a trauma response because I have my identity. So from now on, specifically for this week, I am entering into a kind of science experiment where I'm just going to ask the question, does this nourish my energy or drain it? And if it nourishes it, yes. If it drains it, not allowed. Because that's my priority. Not what I want, not where I want to go. I'm already where I want to be. I just need to manage and maintain my energy. And it took me a lifetime to get to this place. Now, what I really want to do is to teach you how to get to where I am. That's really what I want, is to impart to you where I am. But this knowledge is not free. Hell no. I did way too much work to just hand this over. And fuck that shit. I earned the knowledge I have. So yeah. That is part of my ethic now. I spent 30 years suffering, building, putting this together, accumulating resources, interviewing psychologists, scientists, doctors, therapists, philosophers about my theories, grueling over so many books. I have killed so many trees. When I was 12, I had piles of paper all over my room every night before bed. Every night for decades. I had to clear off my bed because my bed was my workstation, and I had so many files and papers. And you know what? I kept every bit of it. I have boxes of storage of all of my research, of all of my notes, of everything I've ever handwritten, all of it crammed into bank boxes in storage. I have kept all of my research. 30 years. When you think of it that way, oh, hell yeah. You know, I don't talk very often about names, but I really need to. We talk about labels and names. And it's one of the things I absolutely don't like about our society is people throw the word label and name around all over the place without actually knowing what they're talking about. A label is a word that is forced on us to put us in a box by a third person. A name is your identity. It defines you. A label is what other people try to define you as. That's the difference. A label is forced onto you without anyone knowing what they actually are. A name is not something you are born with. A name is something you earn. You have to be, and then you have to observe, and then the name comes to you. So here I am, trying to figure out what I do for a living. People ask me, so what do you do? I don't know. I do a thing, and I cannot tell you what it is I do. Because I am in the being stage and observing stage. My name has not yet come to me. So when people ask me, what does he do for work? I can't answer them. And every time I give them an answer, I feel the alignment shift and I have pain. I did it yesterday. I was downstairs smoking my weed and there was a man there. He was flirting with me. And he asked me what I do for work. And I gave him an answer. And it just felt wrong. And I'm not going to do that anymore. When people ask me, I'm going to tell them. I am in the being and observation stage. And I am in the process of waiting for my name to come to me. Now I can tell you that, well, I do Facebook content and I have the healing garden that I'm building. What I do there, I'm a philosopher. That's what I do for work. I'm a philosopher. I'm a healer. I'm a philosopher and I'm a healer. Philosopher, when I say that word, boy, it just sits with me and I purr. That's the alignment. And I'm a teacher. But that's what a philosopher is a teacher. That's it. That feels right. And that's really my goal, is to teach you how to become aligned with your frequency. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's why we're all in pain. That's the problem. We're not aligned with our frequency. And I'm going to teach you how to do this. Manifestation is part of it. Energy healing is part of it. Psychology is part of it. Thinking is part of it. And some people don't need much psychology. Some people don't need energy healing. But at the end of the day, I watch energy healers who have psychological problems, who are ignoring their psyche. And I see psychologists and therapists who have the psyche partly figured out, but they're not aligned with the Reiki. And I'm looking at them going, why aren't you taking in all the factors? Well, because we're not taught to balance all the factors. We are taught to compete. We are taught to argue. We are taught to fight. And I have a theory on this. Our society is very much a modern Rome. I cannot explain this to you enough. We are a modern Rome. Holy shit, are we? I studied Rome for 20 years. I am a Romanologist, the study of Rome. I studied the psychology of Rome, the history, the war, the battle, the culture, the society, the mindset. I studied everything that there was to do with Rome because, and this is sociology, because the Roman Empire is what our entire culture today is built upon. So if you want to understand our culture today, you really need to go back to the Roman Empire and study that, which I did. And when I did, I noticed that they had very much two sides to themselves. They had a lot of sides. But one of them was specifically the gladiators, the arena, the sports, the competition. And then there was the philosopher side. And then there was the entertainment and the joy and the parties. So you had the competition, the aggression, the narcissism. You had the orgies and the feasts and the glutton and the celebrations and the parties in Bacchus. And then you had the philosopher and the intellect and the education and the muse. And our society today is based off of this Roman model, except philosophy has been removed. So there is an imbalance. There is an imbalance. Because I studied Rome, because of my passion for philosophy, I was able to step into it and go, oh, that's what's missing. I remember when I was a child, I said, and this is what I mean by I manifested when I was 5 years old. I said, I want to be a philosopher when I grow up. And I immediately threw that thought away because there's no such thing as philosophy in the 21st century. And yet, here I am. And the universe just hums to me, Anna, just do it. Be. I will figure it out. You just do what you need to do. And I go, well, what I need to do is philosophize because that's what I am. That's what I do. I am a philosopher. I am a philosopher and I need to just own it. I am a teacher. I am a philosopher. And I can tell you all the things that nurture my energy. And that's what I need to teach you, how to nurture your energy. So I'm going to take everything that I have with the Healing Garden and I'm going to just summarize it into this. I am going to teach you how to nourish and nurture your energy. And I love the calm, quiet, subtle peace of thinking. And every time I step into this space and I think, I feel a calm just pass over me because my alignment just goes pew, pew, pew. And I am at peace because this is where I am aligned. And that's it. Every one of us has our peace. But if you're not tuned into your peace, you're running the rat race. You're going to be miserable. And we're all concerned about how we're going to pay bills, how we're going to find a husband or a wife, how we're going to be happy. But we don't even know how to align to our own truth. We really need to sort out our priorities. So I stopped chasing a partner who I love. I stopped desiring. And I started to appreciate. Now, there are some religions out there that kind of got this right, but they don't understand the why. They're just copycats. I'm calling it out. Christianity is a copycat. Christianity is a massive copycat. So if you follow Christianity, you're going to get it right kind of, but you're not going to understand why. Now, that doesn't work for me. That has never worked for me. I'm a theoretical learner. I have to understand why. So I went to Buddhism, and I went to Confucianism, and I went to Taoism, and I went to Hinduism, and I went to all the mythologies, and I studied Christianity, the rise of it, the decline, the church, the ancient writings, the politics, the filthy, disgusting pact it made with politics. Beckett, read Beckett, true story, disgusting. And I went, I understand. I understand. I believe that Christianity is very much seated in Buddhism. It very much is. If you look at the words of Christ, they are almost identical to Buddha. And for 30 years of Christ's life, he's missing. There's like a good chunk of his life where we don't know where he is. We see him at 2, we see him at 12, we see him at birth, and then boom, he's 30 something, and where was he? And when he comes back, and it's interesting because when he's 12, he's talking on this highly philosophical level. And as a philosopher, I looked at Christ and went, isn't that interesting? Christ was a philosopher. Oh, I love when he's 12 years old and he's in the temple, and I'm going, wow, he's a scholar, he's a philosopher. And then he's gone for like 20 years. And I was always there going, where was Christ for 20 years? I'll tell you where he was. His words are identical to the Buddha's. He was in a monastery. He was literally a monk for 20 years. And then he came out and he was a philosopher again. So I view Christ as just another philosopher. And he wasn't unique. He really wasn't unique because he's just saying the same stuff that the Buddha said. Yeah, I believe Christ was a philosopher. That's how I view him. It's interesting how Socrates and Plato are categorized as philosophers. Carl Jung is put into the philosopher category. The Buddha is put into this category over here. Actually, the Buddha is both a philosophy and a religion. Christ is just a religion. And I'm going, why isn't he a philosopher? That's philosophy. Confucius, that's a philosopher. Taoism, that's a philosophy. It's not a religion. And it just fascinates me how religion and philosophy just kind of ride this wave next to each other. What's the difference between philosophy and religion? And really the only difference I saw when I was studying theology and philosophy was the difference between a philosopher and a religion is the deity. A philosopher will just think and teach you how to think and present theories to help you think and grow. But a deity, a religion, is about worshiping and deity and idolizing. Christ never should have been made into an idol. I blame the Roman Empire for that one too. So here I am. I have this beautiful thing here, the healing garden. And I have no idea how. But the how is not up to me. The how is up to the universe. My job is to sit here, do these podcasts, philosophize, find my true energy, nourish my energy, teach you what I have learned. And I really need to stop justifying myself to you, because that's trauma response. I know my credentials. If you don't know my credentials at this point, then you're just passing through. So yeah, I have posted my credentials all over the internet. I know who I am. Just because you don't know who I am yet doesn't mean I'm not somebody. Yeah, that's my truth. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm figuring out this energy thing. So I think a lot. Thinking nourishes my energy. I am what I am. We all are. I am happy. I am very happy. Take a look at my links below in the comments. I have on July 10th an event coming up. I am doing Tuning into Your Power, where I am doing a 5-day workshop where I will be hand-holding and doing everything I do with a select number of registered people. It's $1,000 for registration, and that information is down below. Thank you very much for joining me, and may the kindest of words always find you.